Let's say you're just a random African dude and you've been elected the president of an African country that recently gained independence from Great Britain. Your country is the third poorest in the world. You have only 12 miles of paved road. You have only 100 high school graduates in a country of 500,000. Disease is rampant, there's been a drought for 2 years, and you even rely on your previous colonizer to make sure that your government doesn't instantly run out of money. You'd really like to make this better, and other countries in the region have made real progress in helping their citizens before, but they've come at the expense of human rights, the rule of law, democracy, and general freedom. You'd really like to make sure that your population can have both a good standard of living while also having social and political rights. Here's how you'd go about doing that. Firstly, what resources do you have? You should first take stock of what your country has to offer. What have you got? Cattle farming, vast wilderness, mineral deposits with no tools to get them. Anything else? That's it. Seriously. This is going to be harder than I thought. Okay, so the mines. You take out a big fat loan from the International Monetary Fund and use it to get the tools to crack at your vast mining deposits. With that, you can export it to the Western world and use the money to pay off your loan as well as keep the government running smoothly. Wait, running the government? Everyone is uneducated and unskilled. Who will run the country? Right, well, the British, yes, the British. Those who were part of the colonial administration can continue to work here until a large enough pool of qualified locals develops. No problem. So with the mining rigs up and running, you can sell the minerals to the rest of the world, becoming an export-focused economy. You would personally negotiate a trade deal with the European Economic Community so that you can start importing and exporting goods freely. The revenue from these trades you can use to invest in health and education. With a public-private ownership model of the mining corporations, 50% of your government revenue comes from the mining industry, and this allows you to keep taxes low and even raise more money than you need to spend. That means bountiful dividends to the public and heavy investment from foreign companies. It also means you can ditch the South African rand as your money and set up your own central bank to use your own currency. By now you have the fastest growing economy in the world. That means subsidies to farmers, vaccinations against diseases, universal education, universal healthcare, airports, contraception, telephones, technology, slippers. At the same time, civil rights and the rule of law are still being protected. Because you're still using the 1966 constitution drawn up by the British, it means you still have to respect the rule of law, and that means free and fair elections. So in 1969, Botswana held its second presidential election since independence. Unsurprisingly, you are re-elected with nearly 70% of the vote, and again in 1974 with an even higher percentage. Again in a completely legitimate election. That's how good you are. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, however, as all around your country you are surrounded by the racist regimes of Rhodesia and apartheid South Africa. They do not like the fact that you, a black man, are shockingly running your own country and, get this, doing it well. Also, your wife is white. Big no-no for racists. Until now, you didn't even need an army, because you focused more on poverty reduction than military spending. You never went to war with anyone, so why would you need them? But now Rhodesian and South African-backed terror groups are targeting you and commencing operations in your borders, so you formed the Botswana Defence Force in 1977 to keep them at bay. You also play a role in the founding of the Southern African Development Community as a way for the wider Southern African community to reduce their reliance on South Africa and Rhodesia. In 2019, this region had a nominal GDP slightly bigger than Switzerland. In 1979, you are elected for a fourth time, with 75% of the votes. Unfortunately, you die in office only a few days later and your vice president takes over. But he's just as popular as you, and to this day your party has consistently been re-elected every election. Since you became president, there's not been a single military coup, major rebellion, or civil unrest. With a proper education system, 90% of your citizens are able to get an education up to age 13 at the very least. In the past 20 years, infant mortality is down 16%, tuberculosis down 76%, STDs down by 2/3, and malnutrition down by 1/4. In just 13 years, the wealth of your citizens increased 10,000%. Not bad in relation to some of the other countries in the area. Today, your country ranks the lowest in Africa for corruption and instability, and even has accumulated over 7 billion in foreign currency reserves. Over 270,000 tourists visit yearly, despite a 2014 ban on poaching and game hunting. In 2019, your government scrapped a law making same-sex relationships illegal, one of the first in Africa to do so. That's not to say your country is now a utopia though. Nepotism, unemployment, over-reliance on mining, erosion of free speech, as well as a huge AIDS crisis have been plaguing your country in recent times. But with an educated and open-minded population, you should be confident that these are all problems that can be overcome. So in answer to the question, how do you make a country rich from nothing? Number 1, work creatively with your natural resources. Number 2, be practical instead of ideological. And 3, uphold civil liberties and the rule of law.
But it turned out to be the Vice President of Botswana.
That is a killer ride.
Yeah, it is.
Just never known anybody to go across in a car. Should be the first time, I think.
There they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is that?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Right
that should
across
be
them.
interesting.